welcome to What's the Tea at TFT. Our very first guest is our wonderful creative advisor for internal communications, Mr. Ray Orquiola. Ray, welcome to TFT.
Wow, what an exciting afternoon it's been spending time with you. I actually feel like I'm part of the family already at TFT.
Well, tell us about yourself. Where are you at in life? How'd we meet?
Dean Celine and I went to college together and we both started student publications. Her publication was called Smell This, and my publication was called Maganda, which is a Filipino word for beautiful. And I've known Celine for 30 plus years. We stayed in touch, and then we got reconnected over LinkedIn. And then one thing led to another, and here I am helping her with her communications. I retired from Wells Fargo just in April, so I've got lots of time to kind of help. And Celine reached out to me and I said, of course, when do you want me to start?
Well, thank you very much. We're so grateful for the internal communication system that you really helped us put in place here. Could you describe what the internal communication system that you structured for us?
Well, you know what, it's really all about engagement and making sure that people can collaborate, can talk to each other, and come together as a community. And I think that's the really important thing about communication internally, is making sure that people feel heard. And so one of the things that you did at first is you actually got to hear what people wanted here at this organization and at the school. And so you asked people for their opinion. And what we did from there is then we created some programs that would increase engagement, like Snacks and Scripts, Development Day, which we'll be hosting here in April, I guess, and a few other things. So a lot of that has come to ramp, Celine, because you championed all this. And so internal communications is really all about the engagement of your staff and faculty.
Thank you so much. Snacks and Scripts is a monthly event that our staff and faculty have really taken ownership of.
Yeah.
And people bring their favorite food. I think the first one was called Nachos, Nachos, Nachos. The second one was called Donuts, Donuts, Donuts. And the third one, we'll focus a little bit on Thanksgiving and a little bit on cheese.
Mm-hmm. And
I think it goes a long way when we know about each other beyond our work and through our work. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think one of the things that people really want to be understood and to be heard is understanding who they are holistically, right? And so people come to work, they do a great job, but also understanding what other interests do they have, and bringing people together in an informal way where they can come together at a department level or maybe in a department-wide level is just as incredible. So for you to enable people to do that is a really big part of bringing people together and the engagement. Now, there's another thing that I think is important to highlight, and that is the Building Talent Day that you have that you're going to be doing next year. And that day is really going to be focused on building professional skills for everybody on your staff. And it's a whole day focused on that. And I think that's going to be great. I think it's going to be a really great initiative for you to do.
Yeah, and I also love a couple of other ideas. Lights Up, which are quarterly town halls, the TFT Digital Studio, which is an informal place for us to share, what people's contributions are, what they're confounded by, sharing solutions. And then lastly, I can't remember what we call it now, but it's a monthly greeting to celebrate inclusion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that number one, each month it's always a cause for a celebration. In October you had the Hispanic and Filipino Heritage Month. November is really going to be focused a lot on gratitude. And so I was really excited to help you frame some of those messages because people want to hear from you. They want to hear from their leader, and not so much as the dean, but as a human being. Mm. And there's a lot of, in the content that you provide and send out to everybody, there's that human side that people see and read. And I think that's really important. And people appreciate that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, my favorite memories of you and me in undergrad was just the energy we brought to creating institutions within the institution. I think we really claimed our education. I mean, why did you decide to do Maganda magazine, which really brought together Filipino American students across all the disciplines to express their culture and express their distinct individuality under the umbrella of, a shared heritage?
Well, that was really important, is the point of having a shared heritage, but not only with other Filipinos, but making sure that you could share that with the community. And Filipinos at Berkeley, they were a very big growing group. And in fact, the year that, I think it was the year after I came, the largest number of Filipino students came to Berkeley. I'm not sure if you knew that. Yes, the largest, and that was the largest ever. And so starting Maganda magazine made sense. And it did bring people together. Now, the fun thing about this, 35 years later, it's still around.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
That's a testimony to your leadership.
Thank you. It's still around, and it's still functioning, and it's still serving as a voice, not only for Filipino culture and literature, but for Filipinos in the community in general.
We live in this time right now where, the university is, unfortunately, largely maligned for being a place of indoctrination. When I think of it as a place not only of discovery, but a place to be audacious, to experiment with your identities. We just came from the costume sale, and, several students came up to me and said, "What do you think if I wear this? Will people think this of me?" And I thought, wow, these are students experimenting with their identities, trying things out. And how awesome is that?
Celine, it's incredible that you say that, because you're doing the same thing every day. Even though we haven't seen each other in 30 years, the way I saw how you spoke with people during lunch, how you asked for someone to take a photograph with you, how you got things done with people that we were having lunch with, and in terms of just making sure that action items were done. I thought that was amazing. And look at you. You're this dean out of UCLA, and you are making it your own. I mean, through the incredible habits, through the incredible personality that you bring. And also, one of the most important things is incredible humanity that you bring to the position. And it's genuine.
Yes,
it's genuine, and I think it's just an incredible way of leading.
Thank you. I'll ask you one last question for our inaugural episode of What's the Tea at TFT. And, Ray, when we got reconnected over LinkedIn in April, you said this announcement saying, "I'm now retired from my role, as Senior Vice President of Communications." And I immediately thought, I need Ray, a positive ray of light. And the way you bring people together to find, what's special about each of them, which is what Maganda magazine is all about. And as we know, Maganda in Tagalog means beautiful. And, right now you told me you're retired. Every day's a Saturday. I can't even imagine what that's like. But let's close this by asking you to answer one question.
Sure.
What is meaningful to you now?
What is meaningful to me is just giving back with things I love. And I'm doing 2 incredible virtual volunteer activities, one with you, and the other with the Public Policy and International Affairs program, which paid for my graduate school. And they're going through some challenging times with DE&I because of the environment, and so I'm helping them with fundraising. And my husband Marlon says I am working too much.
Oh.
And I said, I don't think I am, because I love every single minute of this. And it's not work at all. And so even though I'm spending about, 60, 70 hours a week doing both, I love the work that I do. And so this is what I want to do in retirement, because I'm excited to do it every day. And it sounds like, it almost sounds trite, right? But it's something that I really, really love. And so reconnecting with you, doing communications work that I love, but also helping other organizations, that's very meaningful to me. And this is how everyone should spend retirement.
Oh, beautiful. So on behalf of UCLA School of Theater, Film and Television, and all the people, who populate this institution, who dream of making it better every day. We can't get enough of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Celine.
Yay.